Good afternoon, guys. I hope everyone is well. Happy Monday. It is the 24th of August, and this is your daily market outlook for today. Again, apologies for the absolute mess in the background of this video. My office is an absolute state at the moment. But I do get married in 30 plus days, so hence the absolute madness that is going on in regards to the room. But before we get into any video, understand that the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my videos should be considered financial investment or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Any past performances discussed does not guarantee future results. You are responsible for your own financial decisions. So, as you can see today, we have no big news until Wednesday. I think you guys should be able to see my screen. Yep, as loaded. No big news until Wednesday. As you can see on here, so Monday and Tuesday, apart from the orange folder news tonight and then 4 p.m. on Tuesday, we should be in for a reasonable, maybe a slowish market. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. And then obviously we've got, core PCE price index prelim, which is at 230. So let's see how that plays out for this week. Going into the charts now, daily, what can we obviously see? Last week we've obviously started to melt off. Thursday's candle, Friday, Wednesday's candle melted off. Thursday's candle and Friday's candle was inside of this demand area. Now, as you can see from this demand area, we've consolidated for a few days. So what we're expecting is well, two scenarios. Market obviously just carries on shorting as one scenario, or the next scenario would be where market starts to give us that bullish movement and then potentially having a reaction from these supply areas that we have, and then maybe going to bearish. But we'll have to wait and see. But for now, we know what we are looking for. Ideally, we'd be confident in bulls taking control if we do break above this high. Now, jumping into the four, that's the eight, but jumping into the four, you can see that our 4 hour range is still from this here, this lower high to this lower low. We have, let me move this, we have quite a lot of imbalance still to fill from, this week to this week. And obviously we have this supply area. So ideally what I'm looking at with US dollar is, can we see potential market um, bulls? And then we see how we react from this supply. Either we obviously then get the short or market just carries on bullish. Now, of course, playing both sides, ideally what I've been looking at today is this demand area, because if you look at the structure, you can see from this four, we obviously have this 4 hour range, market pulls back, but didn't pull back into the supply, fails to go and create a new lower low, and then we've had this bullish reaction here. Now, this bullish reaction broke above this high. So, are we now getting this bullish move? And that's why this demand area is my demand area in which I've been obviously keeping my eye on today. So, at this moment in time, we are bullish from here. Let's see how that plays out for the rest of today. Now, again, aligns pretty perfectly with Euro USD. You can see, let me just remove this. You can see that we have a reaction from this daily supply area here. Market slowed down on Thursday and Friday, and now we're starting to get that downwards movement. So can we see potentially this imbalance that we all have here, filled? And then we get into these areas of demand, either this one or this one. Can we then see market obviously go bullish from here, either one of these? So we have our daily demand areas here and here. So let's see. We jump down into the four. Oh, pardon me. We then have our 4 hour demand areas below. These yellow boxes are referring to obviously the imbalance that we have. You can see as well from here, we have a small imbalance inside of that 4 hour demand. Let me just zoom in so we can see. small little imbalance inside of there as well from this wick to this wick. So demand areas are pretty clear. Now, of course, if you focus on the fact that in order for us to get down here, we need to see internal structure go bearish. Now, what can we see? Well, if we look at the structure, we can see that from obviously this bullishness, we have a little mini pullback here. Then we go bullish again. Market pulls back into this demand. Then we obviously go bull again, fail to break this higher high, come back down, fail to break the low, go bullish a little bit, and then eventually we've had this break here. So we've got focusing on this little drawing I've just done. You can see we've gone from bullish to now bearish. So you can see that market had this pullback and then this area melt off. And that's exactly where my supply area has been. Now we have just missed that supply area. You can see the wick didn't tap in, but it tapped into the imbalance. And ideally what I want to see now is if market doesn't come back up again into the supply, I just want to see market move away from where it currently is at. So pretty easy to understand. Now, Great British Pound, US dollar. Same scenario, you can see we have obviously been bullish. We've got our demand areas below here. We've got a lot of imbalance on that daily as well. You can see from this wick to this wick, start of that wick to this wick, that yellow box. We have all this imbalance that needs filling in. So we expect markets coming to this, but if we look at the four, what can we see? Well, on the 4 hour, you can see that structure has been, well, you can see higher high, pull back to create a higher low, higher high, pull back, higher low, higher high. Then what's happened is market came back down, failed to go and create a new higher high, and then same as Euro USD, we had this bearishness. So for me, market has started to, it's consolidating, but it is starting to shift in that bearish momentum. Now, when I seen obviously this candle, you can see that we obviously now pull back into the supply. And all I'm expecting is if dollar carries on bullish, we want to see, of course, Great British Pound, US dollar carry on bearish from the supply. Just keep an eye out on if we do carry on bearish from here, when we get into this area of demand, just keep an eye out to see what is going to happen because we do have some imbalance from this wick to this wick as well. And this potentially could be an area which sees bullish movement coming. So just be aware of that demand. And I'm just going to mark out this imbalance so you can see from this wick to this wick. You can see that yellow box is where the gap needs filling. So yeah, pretty easy to understand for you guys. It is consolidating at this moment in time, but let's keep an eye on that. Now, Euro NZUSD, if we just quickly go to the daily. Oh, no way. You can see that we have this daily demand area here, and we also have this imbalance on the daily here as well, as you guys can see. Now, we're obviously nowhere near that at this moment in time. If we drop down to the four and we focus on the 4 hour structure, you can see that with NZUSD, we obviously had big bullish movement. As you can see, we had a mini pullback here, bullish again, market coming to what this area of demand, and then we got this bullishness away. So all I'm expecting is some sort of bearishness into this demand, and then potentially go and carry that bullishness on. Now, from a 4 hour, I can't really see much. But if we go down into the one, you can pretty much see that from Asian came up, tapped into this area of supply here, and then obviously had a little mini pullback here, and then we've had this. So everything seems pretty clean so far, meaning from this 1 hour supply, and then we've had this supply area here. So, pardon me, I'm tired. I just personally want to see market carry on with the bearish movement. And then when we get into this demand area, we can obviously then make a decision from there. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Supply is in control internally. Um, so let's wait and see what happens on there. We look at AUD daily time frame. You can see inside is daily supply right now, but we are extremely bullish. We have our daily demand area as well. So again, can we see some bearishness come into this demand and then carry on bullish from here? That's ideally what we would want to see. Ooh. If you look at the 4 hour, let me just remove this. You can see that we had market pullback and then go and create this high. So we have this bullish 4 hour range. Now, of course, we have a demand, we have an imbalance, a lot of imbalance to fill here as well. The start of the imbalance would be from here. So we want to see market come and fill in this imbalance and then obviously go again. Do we have any internal structure that could potentially see us looking for shorts downwards? Well, during Asian market, London obviously then pulled back. We've created obviously this. It is consolidating. It's not the nicest. Ideally, what I would like to see with AU and NZUSD um, is can we see a nice, beautiful reaction, beautiful red candle that then goes and creates a new 1 hour supply. And then we can obviously look for what? We can obviously then look for the market to carry on short because at this moment in time, NU and AU are just not the nicest at all. So obviously we'll have to just wait and see what happens with that. Because I'm not going to discuss with AU. I want to see something. I want to see some more movement with AU and NU. USD CAD, let's have a look at what she's doing. Daily time frame, we're close to that daily supply area. At this moment in time, are we just going to come into here? You can see that this is our two candles. We might not come into the full imbalance, but we've reached that daily supply. It could be the same scenario as this here. Can you see how we didn't come into that last candle, but we come into where the consolidation was before we broke out? So ideally, if we look at the dollar, if the dollar obviously carries on shorting, we expect USD CAD to just carry on shorting. If the dollar carries on bullish, then we expect USD CAD to carry on bullish. But from at this moment in time, daily supply is in control. If you look at the four, what can we currently see? Well, you can see that we have these 4 hour supply areas. But if you focus on the structure, you can see that market has had like these pullbacks. Market comes into that supply, carries on bearish. Then what happens is market then basically has this bullish movement. Let's just zoom in on here. So for me personally, I want to see how market reacts when we get into around this area. Um, if we just go down to the one, it's probably going to be a lot more clearer to see. This being our 1 hour demand area from here. Let's mark out this whole area. So if the dollar does carry on bullish, I would like to see market come into this demand and then that be our next area of interest to obviously look for buyers. So let's see what happens with that and see if we can get that movement going on. But like I said, USD CAD has been very bullish at this moment in time. So let's see what happens with that. USD CHF. If we go to the daily time frame, you can see that we've reacted beautifully from this daily demand, which aligns with us being in this daily demand with the dollar. So we've reacted beautifully so far. We do want to see this area of supply met, this imbalance filled. So on the 4 hour, what can we see? Well, pretty simple. We can see that even though we didn't reach this demand, the daily demand is in control. When we had this bullish reaction, we can see that market, if you look at this, you can see we had this market broke above this high, pulled back into this demand, filling in that gap, that imbalance, gone bullish again. Let me just delete this. Where did market then come back into once again? this area of candle, and then we've had this bullishness again. Now, for me, I want to see us potentially come into this area here, and then carry on bullish from here. So ideally, I would want to see filling this imbalance, take out these lows, and then carry on bullish with USD CHF. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Pretty clear to understand. Um, but yeah, that's what I've got for the major pairs today. So definitely keep an eye out on that. Of course, we discussed the fact that your AUD on Friday, beautiful trade idea, as you can see, down into that supply, which was an absolute beauty. And now I'm waiting to see how we react from this demand area. Um, so keep an eye on your AUD, as I said on Friday. Definitely keep an eye on this demand. But yeah, man, that is your daily market outlook for today. I appreciate every single person as always, and we will catch up tomorrow. Take care.